Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ginger Binger Podcast. This week, I've got a good friend from high school, Mr. Danny Zuko. What's going on, Brycen?
Hey, what's up?
Holy shit. How many years has it been since we did Grease? 2011?
Oh, my God. I think, yeah.
8 years?
Yeah, well, I was in grade 12, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 years. Oh, my God. It's been 8 years.
We're getting old, dude.
I still have my fake cigarette. The paper cigarette. I still have it. I put it in a little box. It's got the Z on it for Zuko.
My aunt, after that show, had taken a picture of me, and she made a poster out of it, and my mom put it up in my room after I left. That poster has not come down to this day. I go home and was like, feels really weird looking at 17-year-old me with greaser hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you remember, I told my girlfriend this, and she didn't believe it, but when we were doing Grease Lightning and I kicked that Twinkie and almost hit the pianist right in the head with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't even trying to kick it that way. I was trying to kick it off the stage.
Yeah.
Shit. So what got you into music like initially? Because I knew you in elementary school. Like I've known you for years.
I forgot that you went to CRMS.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because I always knew you as like a bit of a Star Wars kind of geek, and then when you went to junior high, because you're a year ahead of me, you really started, getting into the music. So what was that?
Great. Well, my grandfather's a musician, and my dad is, my stepdad, I guess, is a musician. So I just was always surrounded by it.
Okay.
But there was always guitars in my house, and. My dad probably, how old would I have been? I was probably like 7 or 8 when he would have started building his home studio. Like it just went from one of the bedrooms, the extra bedroom upstairs at my grandparents' house. It was just really modest, just a couple pieces of gear, no computers then for recording.
Yeah.
It was digital. It was just straight to hard drive through like a little digital mixer he had. So, I had, like, a little makeshift studio in my house for as long as I can remember. And that grew to being in, like, the house next door. That there's a proper control room and a drum room and a vocal booth and stuff. But that was, like, all the way up through high school and stuff. But so, like, when I was 12, it was my 12th birthday, I got, like, my first electric guitar. But I knew, like, I had a really, really shitty acoustic before that. But I had good acoustics around because my dad had one and my grandfather had a couple.
Yeah.
So I started learning about guitar and taking interest in learning to play it in like grade 5.
Okay.
And then, I'm born in May, so it was like maybe my 11th birthday. It was May of grade 5 that I got my first guitar, and then grade 6, grade 7, so in grade 7 I started playing bass.
Yeah.
In school.
Because I've always remember you with that black bass. Always. Was it black?
Black bass. No, I had a.
Was it brown?
Yeah, it was like a Sunburst. It was the school's. It was a Fender Jazz bass, and Sunburst meaning that it's like. In the middle it's yellow, and then as you get to the outside edge it turns like an orange and then a red and then a black around the very outside edge. It's actually like a 60s, it's like a bit of a Frankenstein bass. The body's from the 60s and the neck is from the 80s, but it's not a real Fender neck from the 80s. It's like a third party one.
Okay.
With
Mix and match.
With the stickers on it, yeah. But I love that bass. I would do shameful things to own it, but just for sentimental reasons, really, because like that's the instrument that I fell in love with. Yeah, that's the bass that I fell in love with the instrument with.
It's your baby.
I'd like to replace the neck on it, and I tried to go through the process of acquiring it from the school board a few years ago, and it didn't go in my favor.
No.
No, just a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
I don't know if bureaucratic's the right word, but
horse shit's probably the real word.
Yeah, it was pretty horse shit. And
I
I was talking to the superintendent and everything, like emailing her, being like, "Hey, like, what do I do? Like, I know, back when I was in school, I had it appraised. It's worth nothing. I will buy a new, like, good one that's better than it. Like, this needs work. It's hardly playable.
Yeah.
Students shouldn't be playing it, because I know now that I shouldn't have been playing it, because it taught me a bunch of terrible habits to try to, I played it improperly to make it work for me.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of bad habits that I ended up having to break. So, and nobody should really be playing it without the work that needs to be done, and the work that needs to be done is never going to happen because the school and school board don't care enough about this instrument.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'll trade you. You know, it doesn't even have a serial number. It's not even on file. Like, this bass doesn't exist.
It sounds stolen. There's no serial number to it.
It doesn't exist in the, like, if I didn't tell them about it, like, technically probably the superintendent would not be able to find its existence on paper.
Oh, wow.
If I hadn't been like, this doesn't have a serial number, like, you don't care about it, nobody even knows it exists, let me give you a new one and give me that one because it's special to me.
She's probably thinking you're trying to rip her off, like this is worth like millions and she's just sitting on it.
Well, I got a letter and everything written that I had it appraised by a luthier, John Murray, rest in peace, from down our way. He's an incredible guitar builder, big Fender aficionado, crazy jazz player. And he's a friend of my grandfather's, and I got him to appraise it, and he was like, well, the body's from the 60s, the electronics seem to be original, but there's all this other stuff that's been changed, and the neck isn't original, and it was beat to shit.
Yeah.
Which was one of my favorite parts about it. It was like, not like, to me, like, nothing looks better than a beat to fuck. Can I say fuck?
Yes.
Okay, nothing looks better than a beat to fuck sunburst Fender.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of the sexiest pieces of gear, and I'm like, yeah, I love music gear. It's one of my greatest passions, specifically within, like, music is everything, right? But, like, gear is one of my passions within music. Like, collecting gear, like, just like the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it feels to turn the knobs. I
totally get that.
Like, I'm sure it's pretty similar with film.
With film, like, I use all digital, but I love me those old cameras, like those old 16mm cameras they used in the 60s.
So cool, so fun. So hard to find the film, though.
Oh my god. The what I view with film is, like, I'm glad people shoot on digital. Everyone should learn to shoot film on film, though, because that teaches you discipline.
Yes.
Like, you only have so many shots you can do here, so you got to learn to do it right.
Well, yeah, and that's it definitely is. It's the same in music that it used to be tape up until about the mid 90s. Mm-hmm. Digital was coming around in the 90s, but major studios didn't really all make the jump until mid to late 90s. That's when pretty much everybody had a computer rig at that point, and it was very archaic.
Yeah.
A lot of people still opted for tape just because they knew it and it was safe. They knew how to work with it. There are a lot of things you can do with tape that you can't do with digital. There's a lot of, especially that digital at the time, the really early digital.
Yeah.
A lot of people would record to tape, and then, like, load the tape, like, bounce the tape onto the digital stuff.
Okay.
To edit it.
Yeah.
And they would edit it digitally and then feed it back onto tape.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of, like, some people do that. Or Daft Punk, the last record they did, Random Access Memories, in 2013 or 14, I think.
Has it been that long? Jesus.
Yeah, the one that has Get Lucky on it. It's one of my favorite records of all time. I think it's the best, like, sounding, like, from a sonic perspective. I think it's one of, if not the best sounding records of the last 10, 15 years. Like,
really?
Like, I'd die on that hill. Like, obviously there's other albums that I think sound like fantastic for the purpose they're supposed to serve, but that, like, this one, just, like, everything sounds so good. And nothing's offensive, nothing's abrasive. You can hear everything you're supposed to, the way you're supposed to. It's very three-dimensional. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of width to it. Yeah. You can hear things in the distance. You can hear things that are right in your face when they need to be. Mm-hmm. Jeez, we're really off topic.
There is no topic to this podcast.
yeah, so let's backtrack. The bass, and then so I started playing bass in grade 7, and I didn't really identify as a bass player until probably grade 9. I was only playing bass in school band and music class because it was the closest thing that they would do to guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I started doing that, and then probably around grade 9-ish, I was trying to like get an understanding of all the like drums, vocals, and guitar and bass. I wanted to have like a fairly equal understanding and abilities on them to begin with, like from a foundational point.
Yeah, exactly.
Which has paid off for me in dividends over the years, especially now, like as a producer and being able to like communicate with every player, and like I understand the techniques and the approach and the philosophy of all of them. You know, like I know all about all the gear for all of them. You know, I can talk gear with a drummer, even though I'm not a drummer.
It gives you that baseline for everybody. Eh?
And I can communicate with all of them in the sense of like, I can speak the language of all the instruments, and I know what I have an understanding of like what each one should quote unquote be doing.
Yeah.
In certain instances and whatnot. I had a talk with someone around grade 9 where I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been my brother Matt, or it might have been my dad. He was like, you can be like,
don't you dare. You get over there, don't you dare. You know you're not allowed on the table. Yeah. She knows. She knows her place.
But look how cute I am.
To the audience listening, I'm talking about my girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding. No, my cat. It's my cat.
He was like, you can be good at everything, but you have to be great at one thing.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You can only choose one thing to be great at, and it's probably the same with film. You can be good at cinematography and editing and directing and blah blah blah, but like you can't be all of those because only one person can be each of those things in theory. So it's like, and having an understanding of all of them definitely helps when you're focusing on any one of those positions.
Shush you! You were better last time. Go on. Come on, stinker. There you go.
You have to be really good at one, specialize at one, and then that's like kind of what you identify as.
Yeah.
And so I ended up choosing bass because I happened to see 2 bass players that summer that really inspired me. One of them actually is still a good friend of mine. His name's Jean-Pascal Comeau, and he's from down the French shore. Hi, Kitty. From Clare, and he played in a band called Grand Arrangement. Now he owns a studio in Moncton.
Oh, nice! He's doing well for himself.
He's one of the best bass players I've ever seen. Or like that I know. And he probably tell me to fuck off if I told him. I tell him all the time, but he like really inspires me. I definitely like. He's a reference point for me all the time in tone and playing and.
Get out of here.
And then the other one, he also is local. His name's Joe Butcher. He plays with.
That is an awesome last name.
He plays with a bunch of local groups. At the time, he was playing for a band called Blueberry Grunt, and.
I love band names. Band names are one of my favorite things.
Oh, band names are tough. They're such a big thing.
Whenever I'm writing like a short story or anything like that, I always just try to throw in like, I try to always put like a band that they're listening to. I don't know why, it's just one of my favorite things to add. And like I have one band that it's almost like in my cinematic universe. Yeah. They're called the Nervous Poos.
The Nervous Poos.
It's the dumbest thing because we were doing a presentation once and we were doing a big pitch. That's what it was in film class. And my girlfriend at the time, she said, I gotta pee. I get nervous when I pee. And then I said, at least you don't have to poo. And then the nervous poos came out of that with somebody going, that sounds like a British punk band.
It does sound like a British punk band.
Hello, London. We are the nervous poos. Now
Thank you, Cleveland.
Turns out they're not even British. They're just faking it.
It's just an accent.
They're from Alabama.
It's just a bit, yeah. So, yeah, I got into bass playing, and now I identify as a bass player. But like, I can play everything. You know, lately in the last 6 months or so, I've been really getting into synthesis.
Yeah,
like synthesizers and stuff, because of my pop band. So we're like, and as a producer and trying to produce pop rock, you know, obviously the thing that's missing from a rock band to make it pop is synths. And
yeah,
I've really gotten into like, you know, like really dirty like bass synth stuff. So it's like I love the power that you feel when you just push a key on a bass synth and the whole everything, all of everything just rumbles.
Yeah,
and you can like feel it in your stomach and like just like oh,
you are God for a moment.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I love it. Terrifying when you're like playing and you're on stage and stuff, because you're like, I'm so loud. Mm-hmm. But not in the sense of like a guitar is loud and it hurts your ears. I'm loud in that like if I fuck up, somebody's liver's gonna like feel weird, and that's how they're gonna know that I fucked up. You know, like they're gonna vibrate not quite right with everything else that's happening in the room.
That sounds like an evil way to kill people in a movie.
Yeah. Just with audio, just.
It's kind of like editing. I feel the same way though. When you make a cut, you're like, I am cutting your scene short. I am, you know what I mean? You feel all powerful.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what. That's kind of the same. Yeah, that's like, I think, well, editing film, I think, is similar to editing audio when I'm recording stuff, and that I'm like, if you're good at it, you can make things happen that never did.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And, you can make people seem like they're a lot better at what they do than they are.
Oh yeah, the certain term movie magic. Same applies to music too. Yeah,
I just call it Pro Tools.
Yeah,
which is just the recording software.
That stuff's Pro Tools is an expensive program too. Am I wrong?
It's $800 or $900. Yeah.
Oh, what's the one that? Oh, maybe it's.
That's what they have at NSCC.
Is that the Pro one Tools. That? Okay, there was one I thought was $10,000. Maybe it might have been the.
Oh, it's $10,000 if you get like the crazy interface and stuff.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
it's the I/O, so the analog to digital to analog converter, the ADDA. It's just this big gray rack mount box that goes in, and it's the ins and outs, so you can use outboard preamps and stuff.
Yeah.
And to get that and the Pro Tools that goes with it, because that's when you get Pro Tools HDX. Because there's like Pro Tools HD. Yeah. But then when you get the box, it's HDX, and it's like zero latency. Like, it's super fast. Everything. Yeah. Like it's it's the closest to invisible as far as that stuff. And then you need to have a computer that can handle it and justify having such a piece of gear. And that's what like all the crazy studios have is the Pro Tools HD system. Yeah.
Because they get the money for it.
Because they get the money for it, yeah. But most of them also have a big board that's over $100,000. You know, like
audio equipment, like just equipment in general, but audio equipment is one of those like pieces that's just like you want to invest as much money as you can into it.
Audio is so
important. But it's so expensive.
So expensive. Oh, so expensive.
Oh yeah.
But and it's so funny because I've seen this like meme a few times that's like, it shows like a breakdown of all the stuff that's needed to make this recording, and it's like it's like $40,000 microphone, $40,000 vintage microphone like a U47 or something.
Yep.
And then that goes into a $125,000 analog mixer, and then it goes through like a 5,000, you know, like all this stuff, and then it's like, and then it goes into and then it goes in, gets converted to MP3 to go into a $20 MP3 player, you know, like it's like you spend all this time and effort and, you know, trying to make it perfect and sound so good, blah blah blah, but nobody fucking cares.
No.
Like one of my idols says in a podcast that he's on, his name's I think it's Joel Wanasek that says it. He's on the Ultimate Recording Machine podcast, and he
I like the name.
He says your mom doesn't give a fuck if the snare is 2 dB too loud.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know what that means. She doesn't care. All she cares about is if the song feels good.
Yeah.
And you can't get lost in the little things like that. You lose perspective.
Totally.
Which is, you know, it's the same with film. You know, nobody cares if that fade is 2 milliseconds too long. Yep. But like you notice.
Yeah, and it drives you nuts.
And you care.
Oh yeah, and you're sitting there for hours just trying to shorten it.
But that's what makes it that's what gives it personality. That's what makes it you. Is your very, very unique and acute sense of perception. That, you know, like nuances that, like, because other people might not notice it and do it, that's what makes it yours, is that you did notice it and you did do it.
All right, you're going
upset.
You are going in the bedroom.
She has lots to say.
Yeah.
This week.
Well, at least we know where to cut.
Yeah.
So you were saying, though, what were you saying?
We were just talking about.
As the host, I should know this.
Yeah, we were talking about audio.
Oh, about what makes it yours. That's what it was.
Yeah, makes it. Yeah, like it's your fingerprint.
Totally.
Just, you know, like it's how you hear things is different from how someone else hears things, because how you hear them is totally unique, and it's based on your own past experiences and stuff. And
totally.
And there is a science behind it called psychoacoustics, which is a field. I didn't know there's a name for that field until like 2 years ago, I think. But that actually is when I first graduated from Annapolis, I went to Acadia for a year in Wolfville and took psychology. Well, I took a semester of psychology. Second semester, I kind of screwed off. A little ways in. I missed the deadline to drop out and get all your money back, so I just kind of kept going to the few classes I was interested in and wrote it out. And
I did that with Dow, but I made the deadline. Like,
really?
First week of there, I was like, yeah, this place is not for me.
No, good. I'm glad you got it. You know, like, I don't regret it. It was great.
Yeah.
I had some really crazy times.
That's the one thing I miss. Like all my friends I know who went to university get the university experience. You don't get the same when you're at a community college.
No, definitely
not at all.
Not. And like, some people don't care about that. I'm really glad I did. Yeah. Because I love it.
Totally.
Obviously, like, it just kind of appeals to me because rock culture and like partying to a degree appeal to me. Like, I'm a very social person, so I like, you know, I'm a social person and I enjoy altering my reality. So
some libations and all that good stuff.
So, you know, doing that in a somewhat controlled environment is pretty cool. You know, like your rent per se is paid. You're not worrying about making bills every month because basically you're just gonna pay for it for the next fucking 15 years. Yep. So psychoacoustics. I guess like when I went to Acadia for a year and took psychology, psychoacoustics is what I was probably.
How did you get out? I closed the door. Here's the story about that cat.
Yeah.
I didn't want a cat to begin with. I've had animals my whole life.
Yeah.
I wanted a period of my life where I didn't have to take care of anything but me.
Yeah.
It was going to be beautiful.
Your girlfriend had a different idea.
My girlfriend, we compromised and we got a cat. That's what happened.
We compromised and we got a cat. Yeah.
So what ended up happening is the only thing I requested, I'm like, just don't get a loud, chatty cat. That's all I wanted. And she picked the loudest one.
Chattiest cat.
Yeah. And I was like,
I love chatty cats.
Oh, you think you do. You come home after a long, stressful day and you got a project due and this thing's just It's got food. It's got its litter clean. It's got water. It's just in your ear. Just yeah. I cannot wait. I'm investing in noise canceling headphones.
Nice.
My girlfriend also talked me into getting her a horse too, so that's a whole different thing.
You're getting her a horse?
I have got her a horse already.
She has a horse.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I never thought I'd do that. It was the biggest financial blunder of my life. But it was only like $800. I was like, if this will stop her, because from crying for like, it was like 3 weeks of it. I'm just like, you know what? You can take care of the upkeep. I'll put the $800 down for my peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, you'll pay me back later. I know you won't, but the idea is you will.
Yeah.
So so far it's just been like, it's been bliss.
Yeah, because you're just with the horse all the time.
Oh, it's great. But I also thought, I was like, well, yeah, I should learn to ride. That way, if there's ever a movie part where it requires me to ride something, I'm already invested in there. You know what I mean?
And you bought the horse, so you might as well get to use it.
Oh, damn right.
Yeah.
I said I can't. What I want to be able to do is be able to ride up next to somebody and then circle them to intimidate them on the horse.
Yeah.
It's just, and then rear up and then.
That's it. That's all I need to be able to do.
Exactly. That's all I need. That's the money shot right
there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I had somebody do that to me at the NSCC. Do you remember the guards that would go around on like the segways?
Yeah.
So I had him try to do that. You know in those biker movies when you always see the bikers, they're circling somebody, right? Yeah. He tried to do that on a Segway. Now, you can't really do a smooth kind of turn on a Segway. So what he did was, I'm standing there, because I was reaching over the security desk to grab a pen. Yeah. And he wasn't there, because I was just looking for a pen.
Yeah.
And he pulls over, he's like, what are you doing? I'm just like, oh, I was just grabbing this pen. And he starts to go around me, but he realizes he can't, so he has to stop, turn, and then he does a perfect rectangle around me. Oh my god. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody else seeing this? Please get this on tape. It was quite possibly it was the closest thing I think I could have came to a Paul Blart moment.
I can see it happening.
I don't make this shit up. I wish I was that creative.
Yeah.
So you're talking psychoacoustics, though.
Oh, yeah, psychoacoustics. Yeah, it's just the science of how different sounds will affect your brain.
Yeah.
That's why people talk about feel in music. People will be like, oh, this drummer has really good feel.
Yeah.
And that's because music can literally make you feel things.
Yeah.
You can alter people's emotions with sound.
Totally. What's the saying? Music is the one universal language?
Yeah. So it's if it sounds sad, it just sounds sad. Everybody understands that and feels that.
Yeah. Which is weird, because on a I guess a biological level, you wouldn't find that in the wild. But you know what I mean? In terms of millions of years ago, or not millions, but you know what I mean?
Yes and no. You can tell when a baby, the sound of their cry is either pain or...
Fair enough, yeah, you're right.
If a kid screams, you can tell if they're in pain or if it's sort of joy.
Yeah.
If a mother whale is mourning, her sound she makes is notably
yeah, you're right.
Mournful, you can hear grief in animal vocalizations.
No, you didn't even think about that.
If they're expressive, if the sound that they make is expressive, so it is in nature.
But, one up me, Brycen, on my own podcast.
But
never again.
But I've never thought about that till just now, actually. Someone feel in drumming is crazy because it's all about the space between notes. That's what there's a saying, music is actually what happens between the notes. It's the silence.
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
Silence is the most powerful note you have is nothing.
Oh yeah.
Which is there's that famous piece of music that is it's titled. The title is how long it is. It's 4:43 or something.
Okay.
And it's 4 minutes 43 seconds of silence.
Yeah.
So the conductor counts it in 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ugh.
And it's supposed to be dead quiet and you it starts fucking with you.
Oh yeah.
If everything's just quiet and the orchestra just sits there.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end they all the conductor will turn around. The conductor just counts the bars and then turns around and takes a bow, and that was the piece.
Oh, wow.
And it's an artistic statement, but it's also a psychological one, right?
Well, it's like when you're having a conversation with someone and then there's that pause.
Yeah.
And it's like
the pause can say everything.
Oh yeah, in like especially if like you're negotiating, the rule I've always been taught was in negotiations the first person to say anything loses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really like, and in film too, a pause can say way more than any piece of dialogue you ever have.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, as a director, someone will be like, no, I need you to pace that the way you say that differently, you know? Like,
yeah.
I need you to, can you, like, say that a bit, like, faster, more, I need more anxiousness in your voice, like that, you gotta get through that quickly, you're excited, you know?
Yeah.
Like, which is same as a producer in music. A producer in music is kind of the director in film.
Yeah.
You know,
he's seeing the big picture.
Yeah, and keeping everything within that box.
Yeah.
Within the box that's outside of the box.
you do need those constraints, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least that, like, direction, because if not, nothing ever gets done.
No.
And everything, it's so off the rails.
The vision is the big box, you know? And maybe part of the vision is thinking outside of the proverbial box.
Yeah.
But everything that you think of outside of the proverbial box, like the box that we all talk about, everything outside of the box is still within a box that you've defined yourself. Yeah. Which is the vision. Sometimes the vision is inside the box. Yep. That's up to you. But yeah, like with in music, especially rhythmically, silence is really important because spacing is important. That's when people talk about feel or like a pocket, like a bass player and drummer will have their, you know, the drummer's really in the pocket. Okay,
I've heard that term. Yeah,
that's what groove is.
Okay,
like talk, groove's a certain way. Groove is feel.
Yeah,
and that's because and that's what makes people dance a certain way. You know, like, so dance music is very on the beat because there's three parts to every beat. There's slightly before it. Yep. On it, like on the beat, and slightly after. Yeah. And there's this gray area where the after of one beat becomes the start of the next. You know. So I think so dance music. So dance like it wouldn't work for listeners, but I can illustrate a piece of paper. Let's say that the piece of paper is the beat. You know. Yeah. So I can either land if I'm gonna hit the kick drum. I can either land it just to the left of the piece of paper. Yeah. It can be on the piece of paper. Yeah. Or just to the right of the piece of paper. Yeah. You know, but between each of these pieces of paper, there's the space of, you know, one other piece of paper. So you've only got about a half. Yeah. Half of a space that is the before and after, because there is a subdivided beat in between there. That's the one and. So if each one of these pieces of paper is a one. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and. So, you know, like, somewhere between the and we're talking milliseconds of time. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, very nuanced stuff. But, like, if you're before the piece of paper, you're early. Yeah. And you're pushing would be the term. Or you're rushing. Yeah. Yeah, right? I remember when we did Grease, I was always rushing. Yes, so you were always singing slightly ahead of the beat. Yep. So you can sing ahead of the beat, which is rock, and I, you know, punk, and I maybe funk. I can't think if funk is usually ahead of the beat or not. That's like one of the genres that I haven't really studied that much. But so that's what gives something a very forward, rushed. It's anxious. Yeah. And then you can be on the beat, which is dance music, which is just. Yeah. Very square. And that's why people talk about like electronic dance music feeling inhuman. Yeah. Because humans have fluctuations on either side of the beat. Yeah. Naturally when you play it. So something is gridded very hard, like it's on the beat very hard. It feels very like, you know, it's square. And that's what makes people want to pump their fist and dance at clubs because you want that steady. That's right on the beat. But then you've got after the beat, which is when people say it's late or it's laid back or you know they're hanging back or a bit, and that's like do you know Gravity by John Mayer? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very laid back drum part. That snare is so late because the snares, it's like boom, cat, boom, right? But if it was on the beat, it'd be boom, cat, boom, cat.
Yeah, and
right?
they definitely give you very two different feels.
There's a very again milliseconds of delay, and same with Pink Floyd. If you listen to the Wish You Were Here album, like his Nick Mason. Well, Nick Mason just in general is a very laid back drummer. His snare is always, and so wherever the pocket is that you hear people talk about are you playing ahead of, on, or behind the beat? And wherever you are within the beat, and that fluctuation is the pocket.
Okay.
Right. So you have to define your pocket.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like a signature. Would you say?
Yeah. But it's just certain things musical moments will dictate where you want to play on the beat.
Yeah.
You know, so you could be, and that can be the difference between a chorus and a verse.
Yeah.
You can play the same notes, the same amount of times in the same places, but not same places, same length, same note length. Note length is really important too, because that's also the space, the silence between notes.
Yeah.
So I could be playing a chorus, and it could just be right? And then did I say a chorus?
I think you were on.
Okay,
chorus.
so then maybe the verse is really wide, and instead it's just ba 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 ba. Same notes happening at the same time, but one's long. The notes are ba 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 ba.
There's just a little bit.
When that happens in the low end, mostly, like in the bass, really. That's why a lot of band leaders are bass players. You see like Saturday Night Live and like all that stuff, like 9 times out of 10, or any like big bands or touring bands even, usually the band leader is the bass player because they're aware of everything that's going on in the band. They're aware of rhythmically what the drummer's doing. They're aware melodically of what all the other instruments are doing, the guitars and keyboards and stuff.
Yeah.
They're the middleman, and usually and a bass, unless you're all playing to like a click track, like a metronome. A bass player can, if you're good, and if the drummer's good enough to pick up on it, you can like manipulate the drummer.
Oh, really?
So like
sounds so like cynical.
So you can I can make a drummer speed up slightly, or I can make him kind of play ahead of the beat if I start shortening my notes.
Yeah.
And if I want him to kind of slow down and get behind the beat, I widen my notes, and they'll just subconsciously do it.
Okay.
Unless you're all playing to a click track, and then you should just be on. But so a good bass player and drummer, especially ones that have been playing together at all or know each other, their pocket is tight and together. Because if you have one person that's playing before the beat and one person that's playing behind the beat, it has this like lurchy feeling, like it feels really gross, and it'll be like a boa boa boa, because you're hitting the low end, the bass slightly before the kick drum hits, and they need to be one and the same.
Yeah.
Or it throws off the sound waves in the room.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. And the only time I could see you doing that, unless you fuck it up, would be like an artistic choice for that specific reason, or to throw it off.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would ever if that would be an artistic choice anybody would really make.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
But yes, it would have to for me to accept it, it would have to be intentional. Otherwise, you're just fucking
it up. Yeah, totally. No, but just you describing that would be an interesting way to play with that just in a film if you want to throw your audience off, because we say in film it's 60% sound. So if you could do something that makes your audience, okay. Here's something. If you're ever watching a scary movie, don't shut your eyes, close your ears, and all of a sudden,
not scary anymore.
Not scary at all.
Totally.
Yeah. So that's why it's like, if your sound is off, your movie is fucked. If your picture's off, you can save it. Your sound's off, might as well just burn the movie right there.
If it sounds like shit, it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
If it looks like shit, you can treat it.
You can put a filter on that shit.
Put a filter on it, yeah.
Just right quick, because you were talking about chords. Have you ever heard of the Axis of Awesome?
Yes.
Oh, have you heard their four
chord song?
That is the funniest fucking thing. I love it.
Well, there's only so many chord progressions. There are finite chord progressions.
Totally.
And they've all been played.
Yep.
And there's a documentary about heavy metal called A Headbanger's Journey, and I think everybody should watch it if you don't know anything about heavy metal or the culture or anything. You just kind of want to get it. It's it's just called like Metal: A Headbanger's Journey. It's made by a Canadian filmmaker.
Okay.
Named Sam Dunn. He's the same.
I've heard that.
He's the same guy that did the Rush documentary.
Oh, okay. I knew I recognized that fucking name somewhere.
Banger Films is his company. They're in Toronto.
That sounds like such a porn studio.
Yeah. Well, it's Headbanger, right?
Yeah.
But so he did, his breakthrough was this documentary. He also did an Iron Maiden documentary called Flight 666.
Okay.
And in this documentary, he's interviewing. I can't remember who it is that says it. I feel like it's Rob Zombie. Says, he says that Tony, I think it's every cool riff. Tony Iommi already wrote every cool riff in heavy metal.
Yeah.
Like from Black Sabbath.
Yep.
He's like, every metal riff has already been written by Tony Iommi. Everything else is a Black Sabbath riff, either slowed down, backwards, or like he did it all.
Yeah.
It was his point. I don't necessarily agree with that, but like it's a pretty like.
No, I totally get it.
The argument could be made to a degree, like.
Well, again, just to relate it back to writing. There's 7 stories out there, and Shakespeare did them all. So everything else is just basic, So,
every song's been written already.
Yep.
And that 4-chord song is a really good example of that. But it's funny because there's just it's all based in theory. Like the what they're doing is like I think they do I can't remember what the root movement is, but there's there's a few sets of them but like the most common one is 1-4-5, which is the chords that are based off of the first, the fourth, and the fifth note of the scale that you're playing in the key of. Yeah. So that's like Walking on Sunshine. That's also
Don't Stop Believing. I think they do one in there.
That's not 1-4-5.
Okay.
But another 1-4-5 is Basic Blues is 1-4-5. Like a 12-bar blues is 1-4-5. Another good example, but the one I always think of is Hit Me with Your Best Shot and American Woman.
American Woman. We get taken down now.
American Woman by the Guess Who and Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Pat Benatar. Don't know who the songwriters are, but those are the artists that perform them.
See, really, when I think American Woman, I think Jimi Hendrix.
He never did that.
Jimi Hendrix did American Woman.
He did not. That was done by the Guess Who, and then it was covered by Lenny Kravitz.
But he was never covered by Jimi Hendrix? Are you sure?
No, it happened after Hendrix. Let's look it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Jimi Hendrix has a song, American Woman. Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
American Woman. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Wait. This is crazy. I thought the American Woman was after Hendrix. Okay.
I get one-upped on my podcast. I one-up him on music. Damn. The universe is about perfect balance.
I didn't know that this... Okay, Okay. So I got in an argument today with someone who said they liked the song American Woman. I asked which one they had, meaning Lenny Kravitz or the Guess Who. And she is like, "Are you stupid? Jimi Hendrix did that song." I said, "No, he might have covered it, but he didn't make it." She agreed that he covered it, but I have never heard a Jimi Hendrix cover of it. She said she downloaded it off iTunes. Can anybody tell me if he really did a cover of it? And if he did, can you give me a link? Someone says, "I'm pretty sure he didn't. Was he even alive then? I don't know. And of fucking course it was the Guess Who, but Lenny Kravitz did cover it, but the Guess Who's the shit." Edit. Hendrix died the same year that the song came out. Came out in 1970, and that's when Jimmy died. He died like September 10th.
Yeah, he died young, didn't he?
He was in the 27 Club.
Oh, yes. Who else is in that? Kurt Cobain,
John Lennon.
John Lennon. John Lennon was 40.
Okay, not John Lennon. Oh, why did I think John Lennon? Oh my god.
John Lennon was 6 when he was performing with the Beatles.
Oh my god, who was... Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. I keep getting her confused with
Jim Morrison.
Oh, I love Jim Morrison. The Doors.
So Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, and Janis Joplin.
Isn't it terrifying though when you think like just the 27
And they all
Club?
have white lighters in their pockets.
Really?
Yeah, that's a rock myth. Is that like when I'm turned 27, I'm not carrying a white lighter for the whole year. Yeah. I know at least one person, maybe more, that always have a white lighter on them. Yeah. And it's like their lucky lighter, because they're like, I carried this every day of my 27th year and I didn't die. I didn't die. So
it's terrifying to me though when you think of 27 Club, just for it's like I'm 2 years away from that. It's like god damn. And
they're like, yeah, but they also were all crazy heroin addicts.
No, totally. But you really think how short life is because shit.
Look at everything they did by the time they were 27.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. True. A lot of them had short careers that they accomplished a lot in a short time. Like,
would you rather though have like a short career where you were on top, or a longer career but you eventually fade out? Because like Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix are legendary.
I'd rather have a... Okay, but is my short career, do I die to end my career?
No, let's just say it's one of those things.
So I'm like a one-hit wonder. Like I'm really huge for 5 or 6 years, maybe. Yeah. Like I have 2 albums, 2 really big albums. Actually, Hendrix and Nirvana each had 3 big albums.
It's difficult, isn't it?
3 huge albums are an okay long career.
Yeah, not a bad career, but just not to that legendary status.
Yeah. No, I'd rather have 3 crazy albums and then kind of fade away.
Yeah.
But that's because I just want to be great. Yeah. I strive for greatness. I fall short all the time.
Hey, that's the thing you strive for, though.
But maybe one day I'll achieve greatness, and the only way to do that is to keep trying for it.
Oh yeah.
Something I've been struggling with a lot lately is imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's big in film. I think it's just an arts thing.
Totally, where you start
Well, it's am I doing this for nothing? Am I is this actually who I am? What I should be doing? What I want to do?
Yep.
Am I as good as I think I am? Do I deserve what I have?
Yeah.
Do I deserve these successes? Blah blah blah. Do I get out now while it's not too late?
Yeah.
But then obviously I'm just no, what do you
It's when you can answer that question, look yourself dead in the eye and say, no, this is what, and you keep going. You have to get that.
Obviously, it's one of those things I know that's all. It's all I can do.
Yeah.
It's all I will do, and because anytime I'm doing anything else, nothing matters. So. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes you need to ask yourself those questions to just reaffirm that you do want it as badly as you do. I've spoken to quite a few of my confidants in the last few days about that, and they all kind of said the same thing. It's natural because if you didn't question it, then maybe you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not asking enough of yourself if you don't feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing a lot.
No. This was the best piece of, the best saying I guess I've ever heard, and it was, there's nothing more harmful than the words good job. And I've always took that as it's either great or it's not. And you could always improve, you know, but because just as soon as whenever I heard good job, I'm like, nope, I don't accept that.
It wasn't good enough.
Yep, yeah. It wasn't not good enough.
If it wasn't fantastic, or if good is the only adjective you've got for me, then it wasn't good enough.
Exactly.
Because good isn't good enough. Mm-hmm. Great is good enough. Fantastic is good enough.
Yep.
I
mean, you could get
Yeah.
If someone said "and" to me, I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my face."
Well, it's Don't tell. Also, I'm very much like, don't tell me how good it was. Tell me how it could have been better.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna get better if you keep telling me how good it was. Like, I know I don't suck.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I haven't spent all this time and money and energy on to suck.
Yeah.
I know I don't suck, but like, what do I still need to work on?
Totally. And I think you need that group, even just the people that you can always trust to give you their honest opinion. Yeah. Whether it hurts or not sometimes, you know what I mean? Because that's how you grow and be better.
And you can decide what feedback you want to even take or care about, or like, you know, and you know, if you're good, if you are good, then you should know what is up and what you're doing anyway. So I'll play a show and someone will be like, oh, like it was good, but like this could have been better, and I've been like, yeah, I already knew that. Yeah. I'm glad you know, but usually it's like, thank you for pointing that out, and I'm glad you noticed it because I felt that way. But now that you said it, now I know that is the case. Yeah. And that, you know, that happens a lot. But there are times where people are like, yeah, like that was really sick, but like I wish you had done more of this or less of this. And okay, cool. Like, yeah. I don't get enough of that, I find, and especially for how much I dish it. Mm-hmm. I'm a very critical person, and
you have to. You expect what you're consuming to be, you know.
Yeah. Well,
like
good. And part of it, I guess, also is like, oh my god, I hate like shitty bands. Mm-hmm. It sounds pretentious, but it's like, why are you wasting my time? Yeah. My time is so valuable to me.
Yeah, no,
you
totally.
know, other people value my time too, but like it's important that you value your own time because it's the only thing that you have that can't be replaced.
Oh yeah. No matter how much money you've had, it's never bought a second of time. Yeah. I love that saying.
So like money can buy happiness. I fuck anybody that says otherwise, because I know how much lack of money can create misery. Oh yeah. I know how happy I would be if I had some money right now. Yeah. But because, you know, pretty much everything else is good in my life. I would be like, the only things that do make me unhappy these days are things related to not having the money that I need to have to accomplish the things I want to accomplish. And what was I saying though?
You were talking about how your time is very valuable.
Oh yeah, time's valuable. So like, yeah, like, and it's probably the same like seeing a really shitty film. Like, it's like, why did I just... Actually, that's a lot of the reason why I'm not a huge film guy. I only watch stuff that like I know I'm going to enjoy. Yep. And like I vet things really heavily, and
nothing pisses me off more than lazy writing.
Yeah, well, it's like, see, I don't watch enough film to know when writing's lazy. Yeah. I don't pick up on it. I'll just be like, yeah, the story was good. They arrived where I wanted them to arrive. I laughed and or cried and felt excited at different points. You know, it moved me, and it looked good, and it sounded good. Yep. And that's really all I care about when it comes to movies.
No, totally. I can always say a movie made me feel good and enjoyed it, but it needs work in these aspects. Yeah, I saw Shazam here the other night. Mm-hmm. I was laughing through that whole movie. Story, though, needed a lot more character development and a lot more, you know, streamlining.
When things are like screaming, I'll pick up on them.
You were talking about, have you caught up on Game of Thrones? Oh, yeah. So, I have to ask you this. What did you think of the whole battle for Winterfell? Spoilers for Game of Thrones, people. If you're listening to this, you're already spoiled for it. Because I've talked about it like the last 2 weeks. I want to hear what you had to say.
I thought it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. It was everything I wanted it to be. Okay. Fuck, people have an issue with the darkness of it. They spent 2 years on it, and it's as dark as they intended it to be for the effect that they wanted.
I'm going to debate you on that.
Okay. It was that dark because that is a classic horror film technique, is not showing anything. Mm-hmm. And that's why they did it, because they didn't want you to be able to see what was happening. They wanted to create like chaos, and like it was intentional. They did not want you to know what was happening. And that's everybody's complaint. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know who was killing who. And it's like, that's what they were going for.
See, I've seen that done so much better, though, with using darkness, too.
Sure.
And this was the problem I had with it. It wasn't the fact that I couldn't really tell what was going on. It was when they were doing some of those big shots when you're, like overflowing, like, or I guess when Bran was warging into like to the Ravens and seeing the battle. Yeah. It was still very grainy, and it almost looked like, I don't know if it was also HBO how they compressed the file, because there were points where it was like
there was some weird grainy.
Yeah, because I was sitting there and literally I didn't have any lights on, but I could still see my reflection in the TV, and I'm just like, okay, turning the brightness up, and it was still very hard. The cool moment, like using the darkness, like what you were saying, I'll give credit to that. When the Unsullied can't see what's coming towards them, and all of a sudden they're there, terrifying. I love that.
I jumped.
Yeah,
I screamed. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, or
because when the Dothraki ride in, that is also when Melisandre lights the swords. That is one of the single coolest moments I have ever seen on film.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Like, it was so just like. Oh, it was huge. It just like made my butt pucker, you know? I was just like, yeah, she put her hand on his fucking sword, and I was just like, yes. And then she says the thing, and his lights, and I was like, please, oh my god, please. And then it just starts shooting across, and it was delivered exactly how I wanted it. Because I was like, okay, please, just go back to the castle wall and let me see the whole fucking thing light up. And then they did it. Yep. And I was just like, oh, this is so cool. But then when they ride forward, and they're just ousted.
Oh yeah.
And just the visual effect of like the flames going into nothing and just disappearing.
Yeah, like kind of like fireflies.
Yeah, and then and at that moment, like, that's the first time that I felt scared.
Yeah.
As soon as that I've been made scared, at least by this like series. Like,
totally.
As soon as that happened, and also that episode gave me some of the most genuine feelings that film has gotten out of me.
Totally.
And I was like, that happened, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, because until then we're never given a full understanding or of the scale of the Army of the Dead. We just know there's tons of them. Yeah. And like, we just know there's a lot. Yep. But like, is it 100,000 versus 30,000? But it's seemingly endless. Exactly. And then when they break that it's line like of shadow, and they're tumbling over each other into the Unsullied, and it's just like, oh, it's so cool.
The only problem I had with the whole Dothraki thing, I love the visual of it. Yeah. The problem with it is from a writing standpoint. It makes the characters look stupid because they just charged into nothing. They couldn't see anything.
Tactically awful. Yeah, nobody would fight that battle like that if they were tacticians. But it shows that Jon's not a tactician, I guess.
But who said charge? There was nobody that said charge. They just did it. Yeah. I can buy it, like they got into the moment. Dothraki aren't disciplined. Yeah, there's just a problem with. I guess I should give it his compliments. It makes the Night King's army look even more dangerous than anything. And it takes out the biggest army right there. It's like,
that was the thing. It was like, there were so many of them.
Oh, yeah.
2, they're supposed to be some of the best fighters in that world.
Oh, yeah. And they just get wiped out.
And 3, they got decimated.
And it was beautiful.
And the pacing of them, of like how long they waited for the survivors to come running back by, because it was just silence, like you said, like that silence was so powerful. They're all just like, oh fuck.
The only thing is, like, when you're building up a big baddie like the Night King, right, you want him to succeed because of his strengths and skills, not because of the hero's incompetence. That would have just made it a little more, I guess, better. I just want better. That's all I wanted from this episode too, is like, it was good. I wanted more, and I wanted more from the characters, because a lot of characters in this episode suffer from plot armor, where a lot of them, in regular fantasies, when a character gets overwhelmed, they survive. It's just part of the tropes. In Game of Thrones, we've been conditioned to be like, they're fucked, they're dead. Yeah. Well, that
was the whole episode. I was like, they're fucked.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
But a lot of them survived. Well, that was the problem.
I could have done with like one more like B-list character death.
I
thought Brienne was done.
Yeah, my money was on Brienne and Tormund dying.
I thought Tormund was going to go too, and I would have been okay. I would have been okay with Tormund dying. No, we needed Grey Worm to survive.
Here's the thing though. What would have made the Dothraki charge a little more impactful? Jorah doesn't come back. Jorah dies there.
No, you have to see Jorah die on camera though.
I don't think you do. I think that's what makes it more terrifying. Because when he rode back, at first I was troubled. I'm like, I know that's Jorah, and he's riding back. I was like, is he going to open his eyes and they're going to be blue? Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, are they going to do that? And then you're going to see the rest of the Dothraki, like, turned and charge. I was like, holy shit. But it didn't. It would just... I understand what you mean, giving him a satisfying knight's death. But...
also, Jorah's one of my favorite characters.
I love Jorah. I had him in my Deadpool to kill the Night King, and that motherfucker failed me.
Oh, I knew he wouldn't kill the Night King. And I knew he would die defending Daenerys. But I loved his death. I
think his death is fine. But I think his death could have served a bigger purpose, though, because we all know he would die fighting for Daenerys. Anyway, that's who he was.
I agree. It definitely could have been much more dramatic in the sense of, like, although there was like they're fucked.
Oh yeah.
I was like, but I knew Daenerys wasn't gonna die, and that was the whole thing. Well, although I was curious whether she's gonna become the Night Queen when he threw the lance at the dragon. I thought that he was gonna miss the dragon and hit her.
Yeah.
And because they wanted you to think he was going to get the dragon, and you're like, oh fuck, and then he missed the dragon, and for that millisecond, people would be like, oh, and then he hits her, and she becomes the Night Queen, and blah blah blah.
I have to give credit though, that Dracarys moment is badass, because I'm like, that's not gonna work, and then he just looks up and that slight grin. I'm like, they're fucked. They're all fucked.
Yeah.
The two things I would just change from this is my personal preference. Yeah. Bran has to actually fucking do something. Because that pissed me off.
I don't even want to talk about Bran. It just enrages me.
Because
they better give us something fucking fantastic.
Exactly, because otherwise he's done nothing for 8 years.
No, yeah, he is the most powerful person in Westeros.
Yep.
In the world, like he knows all.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people were like, well, what, like the Night King's only purpose was to kill Bran? Like what, like. Why? And I was like, because the Night... And someone was like, so what, the Night King just wants to kill everybody? Like, that's it? That seems pretty shallow. And I was like, yes, but, like, he is death.
Yeah.
What's scarier than death? He wants to kill everyone and everything that crosses his path, and then raise it again so he can control it and rule over the dead. And, like, really, like... He kind of wants the same thing. He wants peace and harmony, but through chaos. And the other thing is that Bran has all the world's memories. He has the memories of before, now, and after.
Yeah.
So if the Night King wants to rule everybody and kill everybody and raise them, he needs to kill Bran, or he can talk and like.
I totally agree. I don't mind the fact the Night King died either.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I would have personally loved to see them get run out of Winterfell, because to me, the battle should be kind of reversed. The Night King should have been the final battle for the reason. And I love the Game of Thrones politics stuff, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we've been told since season 1 that it doesn't matter who sits on the Iron Throne if the dead come for us. Because the dead are just going to run roughshod over everybody. Yeah. That's what should have been the final battle.
Well, I guess... But then things wouldn't seem as hopeless to take the throne, and it is, despite that sentiment. The show is about the throne. It all comes down to who sits on the throne at the end. That's what the whole show is about. Who sits on the throne at the end.
See, but I think there would be a stronger message if even like. The characters realize this doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Because in that world, it doesn't. Because if you have the big baddie coming for you. Mm-hmm. But the other thing I would change is the fact that Jon and the Night King do have to have a showdown. I did love when he charged him and he raised it. Like, just that moment, we all knew what was going to happen.
Well, do you know, have you read about the Lord of Light theory?
Yeah, where he's supposed to be Azor Ahai reborn.
No.
Oh, wait.
No.
What's the Lord of Light?
Azor Ahai they mention it like twice in the whole series.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, is it Azor Ahai? Is it Azor Ahai?
A lot of people like to bring up fantasies from the book, too, that don't imply, like, people keep talking about the Valancourt for Cersei. They don't mention that in... Okay, so when in a couple seasons ago, Cersei gets her fortune told by this witch, and she's like, you're going to have 3 kids, and the king will have 20. But they will all be wearing golden crowns, and gold will be their shrouds, meaning they're all going to die.
Yeah.
In the book, there's a little bit more. We're saying the Valancourt will end you, and the Valancourt means little brother. So
right.
She's always interpreted being Tyrion, but Jaime is also her younger brother.
I think because Is he? Was she born first?
Yep, she's the oldest. And
Okay.
I think it's more poetic if Jaime...
I think that's who I'm pooling for.
Yeah.
Jaime's my vote for who
Yeah.
kills Cersei. I think that Grey Worm's gonna go and try to kill...
Euron?
No, Grey Worm's gonna try to kill... Oh, maybe he will go for Euron. I thought Grey Worm was gonna try to kill the Mountain because he beheaded Missandei.
Maybe. The Hound's going there for that.
But I think that the Mountain's gonna kill Grey Worm when he tries to kill him to avenge Missandei, and then the Hound's gonna kind of like walk in as that happens, kind of thing, and then we get Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
Or Arya might even be involved, and he has to protect Arya, and then I think the Hound. I want the Hound to kill the Mountain using fire.
Oh, totally. I think that's a character arc right
I
there.
want a torch in the Mountain's helmet or something.
And honestly, I think that's the only way you can kill a Mountain, because A, he's plated up as shit. You can't bust
And
through
he's
that.
undead.
Yeah. That
He's
when
a white.
when they were doing the whole Mountain and Viper, I was like, get some wildfire, break that shit over him, and then toss a flame at him. He'll cook from the inside, and you can just sit there and
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. So, I think that, and I hope this showdown happens in the throne room.
Yeah. But
And then, I think Jaime's gonna get close to her and he's gonna kill her. And I don't think she's pregnant.
really,
I think she's not pregnant,
okay.
and that she used that because she told Jaime she was pregnant.
Yep.
She's not showing, and it's been months
Mm-hmm.
that Jaime's been gone.
I thought there was going to be a moment where Euron was going to look at her and be like, how the hell does he know you're
Oh,
pregnant?
that's a thing. Yeah,
Because I was like,
but it could be attributed to little birds.
maybe. But the
Varys would know.
reason I would, like, if I'm filming that, because when they show it,
They should have shot to.
they should have had a reaction
Yeah, they
of
should have
him.
had Euron gonna look at her.
Yeah, because they don't. They just have them in a 2-shot and he's out of focus. But what were you just talking about Bran, and this just gave me a whole like thought of, okay, this is how they redeem Bran.
the Lord of Light. I didn't finish telling you
Okay,
about that.
go ahead.
That Bran is the Lord of Light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the Night King is the embodiment of the god of death, the god of darkness. He is death incarnate, and his whites that he raises don't have intelligence, don't have memories. Blood doesn't flow through their veins because like death is dark and silent and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The Lord of Light, the three-eyed raven, the mantle of the three-eyed raven, is the physical embodiment of the Lord of Light.
That'd be cool.
So like the Night King is is death's champion,
Yeah.
and the Lord of Light is and the three-eyed raven is the Lord of Light's champion.
Yeah.
And so like John and what's his name, the dude from the Brotherhood of No Banners.
Oh, Beric Dondarrion.
Beric, yeah. He's a fire white.
Yeah.
So there's ice whites and
Yeah.
fire whites. So the ice whites, are fueled by ice. They're full.
Yeah.
Because he says like blood doesn't flow through my veins, fire flows through my veins or something. That's why he can do the sword thing where he cuts his hand and the sword blade.
That'd be a
is-
cool party
is fire.
trick.
So he's a fire white, and so is John and someone else that was brought back, and I buy it. Like, you should watch a couple videos on it. It's like, when it's all explained, you're like, if this isn't it,
Yeah.
then like, what are you guys doing? Like,
I was just thinking that they were going to have, because if Daenerys goes all batshit nuts, Jon, I don't think will be able to get that dragon from her.
No.
The only one that can is Bran, because he's the only one
he can warg it.
who can warg it.
Yeah.
And they remember it because back a few seasons ago when he meets the three-eyed raven, he's like, you'll never walk, but you'll fly.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that could be
yeah.
it. But going back just to the third episode, I'd have Jon and the Night King just have like a showdown. Jon, I don't want Jon to kill him.
No.
I'm all for
Arya
Arya.
had to kill him.
I'm all for it, just for the reason being, but they have to work together, the three Starks, because I think the Night King and Bran, it would have been cool for them to have like a showdown, but not like in the world, but kind of like in a
their
cycle.
heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been cool, because the Night King is as much Jon's enemy as he is Bran's, because he's been going after both, and neither of them did anything to defeat them. If both of those guys were not in the battle, nothing would have changed.
Except Bran needed to be the bait.
It's true, but being the bait is still...
And Jon was important, like, outside and stuff, like, with the dragon and fucking...
You could have had the dragon just doing that anyway, though.
I guess, but...
But you could have done it with because I thought they missed a point too, because they had all the White Walker lieutenants, which are kind of like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything. I was expecting to like a bit of a battle with the Ironborn, even basically a slaughter, but they could have had like the Night King and Jon and Arya even just fighting them off, and then the Night King just beating the shit out of basically everybody.
I was kind of hoping for Arya to take the face of a white.
Yeah, there's a really good video, I'll send it to you, where she takes the whole concept is she takes the face of Beric after he's died.
Oh, yeah.
And she sneaks up because they think he's a white because they raise the dead, and that's how she stabs him in the back.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. I'll send it to you because that prophecy, like, what is it? Blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes?
No, it's you'll close many eyes.
Yeah.
Some green, some brown, and some blue.
The only thing and unless they pay it off the last 2 episodes, you need to also have that green and brown be actually somebody for it to work. Just because the Night King, blue eyes were so specific.
Yeah, but it's like green eyes and brown eyes. Everybody else has green eyes and brown eyes.
True, but
so you will close many eyes, some green, some brown. Also, the
order is changed too. That's what I noticed with the writing. Because in season 2, blue is the second one.
Oh, really?
And and they just put blue at the very end. I'm like, I get it. I get why you did it,
for drama.
But I'm like, you weren't thinking that way back then, you know? Because even the writer said, we went with Arya because she was the least expected to kill him. And sometimes you hear them say it.
Really?
Yeah. And
the whole time I was like, even like back when she was training, like in in Bravos, I was like, she's gonna be the one because that's why they're training her up. She's got to do some serious shit.
See, I saw her kind of like as the political assassin because Arya she's not as much of a fighter as she is an assassin.
Yeah.
She's a lot more stealth.
Yeah.
That's why I always figured Jon and Bran would have to work together to defeat the Night King both physically and mentally. That's why the Night King, and it makes the Night King look a little more powerful too than just getting duped.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they used that callback because when I saw her, because when I didn't see her for a while and then I saw him, I'm like, okay, Arya, where is she? Is she in the tree? You see her and he catches her and I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna.
And she does the knife drop.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna just turn her right then and there.
Yeah.
And then she does. I was like, okay. And then the next day I was like, yeah, there's just some stuff I wanted more, like just for my sake, because But although that episode did feel like a bit of a video game, which I'm all for. Like when Arya was in the library, tense as fuck. When Jon was fighting that dragon, it's like, oh my god, this is like straight out of like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But no, I really hope they pull more together because so far just these past 2 seasons have been a real drop in.
Well, since they don't have the books to go off of.
Yeah, and even like before it felt a lot more like character driven. Now it's definitely plot driven, and a lot of characters are surviving just so they're in the next place for their plot. It's like if Robb Stark all of a sudden survived the Red Wedding. It feels like.
Yeah.
That's just me, and I hate to see something that I love just
flop at the
end. Yeah. Who do you think? Just right quick before we wrap up here, what are your predictions for the end of the show? Knowing what we know now.
Oh my god.
Brycen is sobbing here, everybody.
I think Daenerys is gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
And she's gonna do something real stupid.
Yeah.
Really, really stupid.
I've kind of predicted her to be kind of turned into the asshole. Like, since the beginning, I'm like, she seems a little too, like, not entitled.
She's gonna become the Mad Queen. And
totally.
She's gonna burn all the people inside the...
Oh, yeah.
She's just gonna light them up.
Yep.
I think Jaime's gonna kill Cersei. I think the Hound is gonna kill the Mountain.
I think they're gonna go out together. I think the Hound is.
I think the Hound's gonna die. I don't know how he's gonna. I think he's gonna die protecting Arya.
If there's, kind of how I see it. If you're in the Red Keep during that final next episode, you're fucked because I think that thing's getting toasted. Because it calls back to the vision Dany had years ago, where she's in the Red Keep, but is fucking destroyed.
Also, that would be kind of similar to what Aegon the Conqueror did to Harrenhal.
Yeah. Oh, I find they do a lot of callbacks, but also callbacks, but they twist it at the end. Kind of like how Robb Stark is a kind of a combination between Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark in the terms of the role he serves.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to be the rebel to win the throne, and then he's killed at a wedding.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, what? Because my prediction for the end of the show was, because I expected the White Walkers to be the final battle.
Yeah.
My prediction was a lot of them will die, but those who don't will use the Iron Fleet to escape. They're going to go to... They don't know where they're going. They're just sailing off. Yeah. Westeros will be kind of like old Valyria, where it is fucked. It's uninhabitable except for the dead. That's what I predicted. I'm wrong, and I lost fucking $10. Motherfucker. If I see either of those showrunners, I'm going to punch them in the nose.
No, I think... Or... I know it's supposed to be a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
That's what George said. So, I think Daenerys might die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jon's gonna sit on the throne.
No, he's not. He's not in that character.
No.
I've heard he might go north.
It could be. It could be Sansa.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'd make a good ruler. I think she's at least... Sansa is at least going to be Warden of the North.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Because Jon wants nothing to do with it. If anything, Jon's going to go north of the wall at the end. Jon might die.
I kind of see either Dany or... Like, I see Dany dying before Jon, but I think you need one to die and the other to survive. Mm-hmm. Unless they go out like Jaime and Cersei.
Yeah, I don't know how Jaime's going to die. I wouldn't be too rattled if Tyrion got the throne, but I don't think that's likely.
No. Euron gets it. Did you fucking imagine?
That's only bitter.
I love Euron, but he's such a shithead.
I hate him.
He's got some of the best lines, though.
I hate him.
In the book, he's a lot different.
I haven't read the books yet.
In the book, he's a lot more mysterious. Okay. And in the book, he has a horn, which is called Dragonbinder, and he says, when you blow it, you tame a dragon. So I'm like, oh,
cool.
That sounds badass. Well, we don't know where it's going to end, but we know where this podcast is going to end. Brycen, it's been great to have you on, my friend.
Yeah, man.
And people of Halifax, if you care about not underage music for all ages. I want to say underage music. That's music. All ages music. Check out the Halifax Pavilion. Brycen, is there a particular way? Google search, website, anything?
I don't even know if we have a website. Just you can look it up on Facebook or Instagram. Just Halifax Pavilion. Pavilion Youth Association. You might be able to look that up. It's just a group, volunteer-based group of people who believe in access to live music and entertainment for people of all ages and backgrounds, barrier-free access to music, essentially, in a safe environment, to foster interest at a young age in live entertainment and the arts so that it doesn't die out and we have people that care about live music and will go and support it, because otherwise we won't have it anymore.
It's giving back, people.
Yeah.
It's a good cause and a good operation here. Thank you again for joining us, Brycen. It's been great to have you. I hope to have you back sometime.
Thank you.
And for all you listeners out there, until that next time, keep on binging.